Welcome to Samuels.here channel. Kevin Samuels was truly a truth seeker, and after many years of educating both men and women of all races, but particularly those of African descent, in the art of navigating the ever-complex dating world, he was sadly ripped from our lives as he was called back home to the Almighty in 2022. Some of us, myself included, instinctively recognized the truth of his message. Many found his message rather unpalatable. I am hoping with this channel to make his message that little bit more digestible in a more feminine and softer manner. I hope this helps my sisters in the Black community who saw him as an enemy. Being Black myself, I hope I can bridge that gap. And oh, by the way, my father was also called Samuel, so in a twist of fate, I pay tribute with this channel to my father, who is also where Kevin has gone. I love how the Icelandic have a way of acknowledging someone's daughter in the same way as someone's son. So I appropriate the Icelandic way to find a suitable name for my channel, Samuels.here, Samuel's daughter. Enjoy the video.
Be nice to you. If you be nice to me. That's all you want to go by Lewis. Okay. How are you?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine. Good evening.
You coming into a place. What do you have for me, Lewis?
Well, I have a question and then I wanted to make a statement. My question is, why are you shaming women who
Lewis, what you're not going to do is what you just attempted to do. I said it a bit first and I'll say it again. I'll be nice to you if you're nice to me. But if all you can use is shaming language and these kind of things, I'll bid you a good night. You either have a conversation like a reasonable adult or you go elsewhere. Now, you can unmute yourself and attempt to do this one more again. I do not accept you coming in here saying, shaming this. No, ma'am. Nope. No, ma'am. So what you're going to do is you're going to be respectful of look, man, I'm having to raise my voice. I have pleasant conversations with everybody else. And because you may be in your feelings a little upset, I'm not shaming anything. There are 5,000 people who watched it. So what is your issue? Well, thank you.
It makes me feel like that it's making women feel shameful that they had kids by a man and that wasn't their plan for life. Like that's not their life.
Excuse me. So see, hold on. This is how old are you?
I'm 30.
No child gets born that a woman did not want to bring to this world.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that I'm making them feel shameful for a choice they made, no. You choose to be a parent that has consequences.
I don't think choosing to be a parent is a negative thing. And
I never said it was a negative thing. I just said it has consequences.
I think with everything in life has consequences.
But choosing to be a parent, okay. But see, what you came on here trying to do is you telling women that having a child that they didn't plan or the life didn't work is shameful. Man, life is about
No, you
choices.
didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
Well, because
I was
first,
there.
you're not going to talk over me. When you come in here telling me that it's shameful what I'm doing, you can say what you have to say. You have 20 seconds, but be respectful.
I'm not saying that what you're saying is shameful. I'm saying it will make a woman feel shameful that you're saying that because they have a kid, there's no future in that for them. They can't find it. They're not going to be able to be married or get a husband or anything.
Oh, that's not what I said. But I mean, but let me make it real clear. We do need to bring shame back because ladies. Well, because here's the thing. I talk about a certain caliber of man, and these men don't want children from another man. Ma'am, do you not think? Okay, do you have any children?
Yes, I do.
You have a son?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so your son makes something of himself. He becomes an attorney, a well-regarded attorney, 35 years old. You want him? You think that he should bring home a woman with 3 kids by 2 different dudes?
I think he should bring home a woman who he loves.
No. See, you didn't answer. No. See,
yes,
see,
I think.
No. See, no. I didn't even get the question out of my mouth before you decide. See, you know what? I'll let you go ahead. You think he should do what?
I think he should bring home whoever he pleases, whoever he's happy with.
Right.
Just because a woman doesn't have a kid doesn't mean that you're going to be happy with her.
Ma'am, where's your husband?
I've turned down 2 proposals because, oh my
How
God,
many children do you have?
there.
How many children do you have?
I have 1 child.
Okay. Why are you so upset that I'm telling the reality that men want? Men don't want women who have children by other men, especially productive, competitive, especially productive, competitive, successful men. Higher value men choose overwhelmingly to start their own families. See, what you have a problem with, man, is men finally saying what men have always thought. If you don't want the downsides or consequences that come along with being a single mother.
This video is about upset feelings. Yes. I'm sure when the lady in question was given the analogy of her son bringing home a woman who is a single mother with perhaps more than one baby father, baby daddy, if she were honest, she wouldn't say, yes, that woman is desirable. But as is the case with all these ladies who come on the show with Kevin Samuels, when you really shine the mirror in their faces, they choose to deflect. I understand that. I get it. But let's get real here. The problem is not really about single motherhood. Yes, I really said that. Look, there are single mothers everywhere. They are not all bad. I also said that. It is true that it is an epidemic in our time, and it's certainly reducing qualifiable women for single men to get to know, to have a relationship with, to marry. It's reducing the number of available, in inverted commas, women to men. Now, I put that in inverted commas because a woman who has a child is really not available. That makes sense, right? Imagine if you're a single mother, you have your child to protect, you have your child to contend with, you have your child to provide for. If the father of that child is not providing, you really do have the extra financial burden. Your mind is elsewhere. You cannot fully give yourself to your date, to your partner or boyfriend, to your husband, unless that man really takes on that child as his own. He's onto a loser. He can't really get your full attention. But that's understandable. A mother is a mother. She has to first seek the survival and, on top of that, the satisfaction in terms of comfort, in terms of food, clothing, all the essentials of life. She has to provide for that child. So it's important for her to be focused on the child. That's a normal biological consequence of parenthood, especially motherhood, where it concerns a small child, an infant, who is not able to cope with the strains of life, who is not yet independent. They are still very much dependent on, first and foremost, their mother. A child is dependent on the father much later in life for his wisdom, for his guidance, for his protection and all. But right at the beginning, they are literally linked to mom in a very physical way, just for the food alone. So it all makes biological sense. And this is why there is that general, natural even, rule to make sure, as a woman, that you have that man who is there for you in this difficult time of child rearing in the early years, so that all the providing, all the heavy lifting is done by a man who is behind you, so that you can concentrate on the caregiving which you are built for. You can concentrate on nurturing, on providing different things that that man cannot provide, but which the child needs. Now, if you are busy being both mom and dad, it's a real uphill struggle. Yes, it sometimes happens that the man dies or he's otherwise occupied, is a prisoner of war in another country, he is sick, Yes, these exceptions to the normal life rule happens. There are always exceptions to the rule. We shouldn't focus on these exceptions. The norm should not be the exceptions, right? We accept that. So, as a general rule, it's always better to make sure that you are appropriately attached to a man, so that the double work of parenthood, and it is a double work, which is why God designed it, that two people who are responsible for the birth of that child do different things in the raising of that child. The mother does the nurturing, the father does the more distant but necessary child rearing. It's different from what mother provides, but it's also essential right from the get-go. It is very difficult to do both. And this is all that Kevin is saying. This is the normal teaching since day one of human life on this planet, right? It's not news. He didn't invent that rule. But somehow you say it because it's a harsh truth, because it's a harsh reality. A lot of women come on the show upset and offended and triggered by what is actually just common sense. It shouldn't be an insult or I'm even finding it difficult to find the words here. It shouldn't be such a hard thing, it's such a hard matter to understand where he's coming from. His job is to teach the next generation about how to navigate the dating market. The ones who are already single mothers, the best advice is to simply make the most of your situation, and that's it. But don't come on the show trying to prevent him from giving that truth to others who need it, because they are not yet in that trap. They haven't yet fallen into the trap. Why don't we prevent them from falling into the trap? What's the problem? Live and let live. You've lived your life. You've made your mistakes. Okay. Sorry for you. But don't let another woman make the same mistake, because you are living the reality of a single mother. It's not nice. Why do you want another woman to live it? So this is what Kevin's job is, and it's a bit of an uphill struggle, to silence. I say silence, but it's probably not silence actually, but to bypass the hurt feelings of these people who come onto the show and try to silence him. She thinks by coming on the show and making a big fuss that he stops giving out his message. No, lady, he's not going to stop telling the truth just because you are hurt by it. It is, of course, personal to you. You are reacting this way because you are feeling guilty. You wouldn't react this way if you thought you had done the right thing and you were doing the right thing. You know you did wrong, but instead of accepting that you did wrong, you want to come and try to bully the man who is telling the truth. It's not nice, it's not elegant, and it's not fair to the next generation of women.
Then what's the problem? Then what's but what's the problem with saying?
I just don't feel like that's
feelings, man. What's the problem? You cannot overtalk me. You cannot overtalk me. You cannot do that. Calm down and just respond. You can unmute yourself, but you can't overtalk me. See, this is another reason dealing with women with children. You get overly emotional because your children are important to you, but they're important to you, not us. You can unmute yourself.
Wow, that is not true. You're one-sided.
Excuse me. No. Your children are important to you. They're not important to us.
Is that so difficult to understand? Your child is important to you, but not to the rest of the world. They are special to you. Of course they are. Biologically, it is right that they are. But why should they be special to anyone else who is not connected to you or your family in any way? This is the height of entitlement. Really, I just don't understand why she thinks that her child or children should be the apple of everyone else's eye.
It's like my child is important to me.
High-value man.
Excuse me,
I
ma'am.
can't wrap my head around
Your
that.
child is important to you. It's not important to us. And here's the real question.
Who is us? Who is us?
Other men out here, the public.
You
not
consider
the
yourself a high
Excuse me,
value
man. No,
man,
this ain't about me, ma'am. Why didn't you marry the man you chose to have a child with?
He wasn't good enough for me.
Well, then okay. So what I need you to understand, on the open dating market, you come into the open dating market with a baby from a man you say wasn't good enough for you. To us, to men like myself, to men with good sense, that would says she is a poor judge of character because she gave a man the highest honor a woman can give any man on the planet, a child. And then she gave a man who wasn't good enough for her a baby. Sorry, ma'am. Don't get upset because
I agree with that.
But if you agree with it, then understand
I agree
there's
with
a
that
reason.
part, but I also want to say that I'm allowed to make poor judgments in my life because
you are. But you are. Stop. No, yeah, you are. But we don't have. But understand something. Listen. You are, but the world does not owe you understanding. You're allowed to make.
They
poor
don't.
judgments.
But guess what?
We are going to judge.
The world does it too,
ma'am.
We all do it.
If you don't sit your emotional self down, lady, I'm sorry. The world is not going to continue. The world ain't going to continue to. First of all, your child is your least of your problems. And this is the kind of bull that goes on too often with women, black women in particular. Think because you can get your ass up here and be emotional and talk loud, it's going to overcome the fact that you made a baby with a dude that you say ain't good enough. That's your problem.
Whilst we all sympathize with a woman in such a position, it really isn't the problem of a single man in the dating market. He doesn't have to take on your problems. It's not his problem. She is upset because he has now made it clear to her that yes, even though she's allowed to make mistakes, those mistakes have physical consequences that cannot be erased. Even if a man interested in her tells her, look, I would like to marry you, but I can't afford to take you on plus a child, she wouldn't accept that. She wouldn't understand that because he, to put things bluntly, did not help create that child, that he is not responsible for that child. If a man shows interest in her, she will conveniently forget that he wasn't there at the time she was conceiving her child. Quite literally, he wasn't there. But he must take care of her previous mistake. And that for a man is simply not a good deal. Now, it's different if he's so in love with you that he chooses you, and this happens a lot actually. But the point is, for the man who doesn't want to take on this responsibility, it shouldn't be a guilt trip issue. He shouldn't be made to feel guilty. Now, it's different if a man does take on this responsibility and then halfway through gets buyer's remorse. Then it's on him, of course. But that's not what we're talking about here. She's going out into the dating market looking for another one, another man. But here is the problem. She was already with a man that I would hope was good enough to get intimate with her. But then after the fact, he suddenly isn't good enough anymore. She's not saying that the man took off. It sounds like she rejected him. Now, that's not very biological. Usually, it's the other way around. Usually, a woman who has had a child with a man wants that man to stay and help. But the problem is that in our Western society, with all the incentives that women have, the government aids and handouts, etc., that incentive to keep the man honest, so to speak, is no longer a natural motivation for women. That's long gone. So now another man must take on the task of the first man who's now given free rein to disappear from the scene. And that's not going to work, because everyone, men and women, but particularly men who do not have the biological certainty that their seed is indeed their seed, due to obvious biological reasons, they want to have a genetic legacy on this earth. And for that, they need a faithful woman, and they need a woman who deems them to be good enough. From that point of view, men don't have a very high bar. Yes. I think men should have even higher standards. But the good news for women is men's requirements of women are actually very low as they are. But even these low standards, women think is too high. We want men to lower their standards even lower, while we raise our standards for men even higher. It's a crazy dating world now. Maybe it's always been like this, but I don't think so. So, yeah, no, thank you, ma'am, I won't deal, is what many men are saying to women. If you're a single mom, accept that you're not the highest priority anymore for the men out there looking for wives. Do your best to live your life and stop complaining. When you had your chance, you had the pick of the litter, you picked someone, and now that he has left or you pushed him out, you want another one to come and take his responsibility, but he didn't get that initial reward that the first man got. Man, no, this is not going to happen. It's just not fair. And that's how the cookie crumbles, as they say. So no amount of hurt feelings is going to change the realities of the dating market. Already, a woman who is not a single mom has difficulties nowadays to find a suitable man. You make things much more difficult for yourself if you go as far with one man as to have his child, and then you want another. No. I think any woman who plays this game nowadays is crazy. It's crazy. I think men have finally caught up to this kind of strategy, and they're not playing ball anymore. It's just how it is. So yes, I do have sympathy for this lady. I can feel the hurt in her voice. She's mad at men who are not picking up the pieces of her life. But she messed up. And now the best thing is to just continue her life, look after her son, and hope for the best. I think that's all that she can hope for. It is, of course, not excluded that a good man takes her on and takes care of her financially and emotionally and psychologically and everything. You know, a man's protection, a man's love is very precious. So, I do wish her luck, but she must accept that she herself put stumbling blocks in her own way. It's no good jumping and shouting at Kevin Samuels. He wasn't there either when her child was being conceived. Just to be a little bit blunt to make the point. Let's get real. I think this is one message that can never change. It is the truth with a capital T, and no amount of sugarcoating this message
does not owe you understanding.
Will help. It's as it is, and it's just something that cannot be circumnavigated.
About you chose to do. You can't make this shit up, people. Okay.
That's how I am. It's not coming from a bad place or anything.
Okay.
But my frustration comes from not because of my dating life, because I don't date. I've given up on the people in today's world. It's not just the man, it's just the people of today's world. They're so tainted, they're so nasty, and it's just a different world from where I'm old school. I grew up around women who date high quality men. So I'm frustrated for the women out there that are still out there trying to date and find love and have kids. Life isn't one-sided, and I want them to know that there is
Let me ask you a question. Hold on.
She's old school? I didn't get that impression at all. She says she comes from a line of women who date high-value men. But by her own admission, she didn't date a high-value man. She dated someone who wasn't good enough for her, apparently. So which is it? I'm a bit confused. She does sound frustrated. Actually downright angry, in my opinion. And I think that just comes from a guilty conscience. I'm sorry. She's realizing that she messed up, and she's now in the phase of having to confront her own mistake. Now, yes, we all have mistakes in our own pasts that we all have to confront. Varying mistakes. It's not the issue, the mistakes. The issue is, what do you do with the mistake? What she should do is to reconcile with that mistake and live her life. Now, she's being a little bit bravado-ish and saying, I don't date, like it's a choice. But you can see that she is upset simply because she's not getting the dates that she would like. If she was someone who truly said, I don't really want to date, she wouldn't even have come on the show to confront Kevin Samuels about his mantra about single women. I think, single mothers. So I think she's angry because she's not getting a look in from men. And that is pissing her off. Yes, I understand. As you know, I have said 1,000 times already, everybody understands because we are all human beings and we all have feelings and we all understand each other's foibles. We understand each other's pain. We all have crosses to bear, and we must all make that effort to overcome our personal struggles. And she's not willing to do her bit. This is the issue I have with her. She chooses to get angry with everybody else, even to blame everybody else. So this is my problem with this lady. If she were to do the work required, as Kevin said, even go to therapy, she wouldn't be so angry. And you know what? She may even be attractive enough for someone that she gets wifed up. Even if she's a single mother, so what? There are men who do marry single mothers. They are all over the place. But they are few, and they're getting fewer and fewer as each generation of men decide to forego that kind of trauma, because it is a trauma for the man. It's hard enough providing for your own child if you are sure you're getting your own child into this life, because there's the other problem of infidelity amongst women, and that causes a problem for men because they are never sure if their child is really their child. So it's difficult enough to provide for your own child, let alone provide for someone else's child, who in the end might turn around and say to him, you are not my dad. That must hurt after you've spent your life's work building someone up who belongs genetically to someone else. I don't think a lot of women understand the depth to which this kind of hurt can go. So, a lot of men are saying, no, thank you. We just don't want to go there. We find a woman, we build a family with her, we get our own genetic legacy on this earth, and that's the end of the matter. And people like her, single mothers like her, will be left on the shelf. In general, it's as it is. So either she makes the effort to make herself more attractive to someone and be truly a good companion to him. So that would be a lot of work on her side to achieve this goal, or she should just stay in her corner and look after her child as best she can and hope for the best for him, and just truly forgo the dating market. But that requires for her to lose the bitterness.
You said you're old school.
A big ask of her. She really does sound
high quality
very bitter. And that's not good for her mental health.
Okay, but where are the husbands?
They're married, actually.
Okay.
They're married. I'm sorry. They're married.
All right. Okay. And are you actually saying you've given up because what? There are no men out here that are worth a damn?
No, and I want to say, can I say this? I didn't say that my child's father wasn't shit. We were young. So my issue.
You said he wasn't good enough.
He wasn't good enough for me to marry. I was a young girl. That's what I'm saying.
But you need to slow down. You need to slow down. When
because
you say
you're
a man,
not.
No, ma'am. I'll let you speak. When you say a man's not, no. See, I'm not going to let you get that off. You say he wasn't good enough. Then you shouldn't have had the baby.
I understand that. I was young. That was
okay, but you're still saying okay.
That's
but
an
here's
experience.
First, okay, you're not going to talk over me. I said it again. Your child is how old?
My child is 13.
And you're still this angry?
I'm not angry.
Oh yes, you are.
My tone makes you think I'm far from angry.
Ma'am, you're ma'am.
What I'm angry about?
No, ma'am.
Sir?
You need to check the. No, ma'am.
Sir, can I tell you?
No,
I'm
you
angry?
can. No, because you just said you were not angry, and now you're telling me you're angry, ma'am. I need to ask you one
I'm angry
question. I need you to
want women to know they can find husbands.
You're not going to do this shit. I don't see what you should give up because you're not fit to be with anybody.
ladies, you guys can
No,
find love.
shut that shit up. You're not fit to be with anybody. You're zip damn crazy. And see, this is what I get tired of. You baby mamas like this one right here. These damn here thinking you're gonna come and spew your poison on everybody else because your broken ass. Take your ass to therapy because you are angry as a mother sucker.
Yes, currently she's too angry to get into a meaningful relationship with anybody. I don't think we need to be therapists to see that, to hear that. So she would be well advised to look into her issues, maybe forgive herself. Now, she's busy demanding forgiveness and particularly lack of judgment from others. But I think she is judging herself rather harshly. If she has truly forgiven herself, she would be less angry. She would be less bitter. She would be less aggressive. I think she should try that as a little experiment. This is, I think, a very important point. Sometimes we judge ourselves so harshly that we think others are judging us. But the funny thing is, most people don't care about our internal struggles, our internal torments. It could even be that not many people know about her own feelings with respect to her mistake in the past. The only reason Kevin Samuels is discussing this with her is because he's a podcaster, a YouTuber, and this is the subject of his show. No one else cares to this degree, so I don't think personally that she has even a need to be so focused on her past. She should just find a way to settle her issues and move on. Then there will be no issues with bitterness and anger, etc. I think she's creating the problem because of a guilty conscience. It is her own undoing, unfortunately. Society has general rules, and yes, it would seem that in the dating market, if she mentioned that she was a single mother, she would get rejected far easier than another woman who didn't have children. That's true. But it cannot be that that's the only issue here. After all, single mothers get married all the time. It's the additional anger and bitterness which would put people off. I think I'll end the video here. It's a real shame that this lady, after 13 years, hasn't found peace with her situation. She can do it starting today. Whatever your issues, I hope you resolve them, because yes, it always starts from within. It starts from inside yourself, inside myself, inside ourselves. If we project our bad reaction to others, we will only have problems, as this woman clearly is manifesting. So I wish you good luck with your internal peacemaking. That's so important, because with that in place, you can only win. Wishing you victory and peace.